Here we go. We are live once again. Hello, everybody. I think I've done a video, believe, every day this week. So that's been a long time coming. Hopefully, you are enjoying the content and enjoying your day. It is another cold front on its way here in Florida. So the temperatures are going to go down to the mid 40s at night. I'm sure many of you feel so horrible for any of us that live in Florida. But it's still cold even for the animals, so I want to try and bring in a couple if I can that can stay in and take care of them tonight. And I put a lot of shelters and stuff out there for the cats that cannot come in or don't want to come in. So anyway, I want to wish everybody a happy Saturday. Hopefully you're having a good day. I got an unboxing of a key comic that this version of it I've never owned before. Didn't know it existed, so very happy to have received this book. I want to, while I'm waiting for people to come in, I want to do a quick little shout out. Um, one of the people that emailed me, one of my viewers, asked me some advice on a Hulk 180 comic. His name is Anthony W. Said he doesn't get shout outs, so I wanted to make sure I fix that. So if there's anybody that views my channel, because I do shout outs for people that are in the live chat, so not everybody gets to see it live. Um, if you want me to shout out your name or something like that, just put it in the comment section once this video uploads. I'll write it down and I'll make sure I do it because if it's something that matters to you, I want to make sure that it's done. So no problem with that if you want to ask for a shout out. I mean, my channel's not that big, so it's not going to reach that many people, but if it's something that you appreciate for yourself, hearing your name or your channel shouted out, no problem with doing that. So you can contact me at either peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, or you can just leave a comment in the comment section. So shout out to Anthony W. As usual, if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. Let's do our shout outs to my paid Patreon members. Um, Keep in mind, everybody, that I am doing an additional contest. If we could reach 20 of paid Patreon members by February 28th, I'm giving away an X-Men number 96 in what looks to be, in my opinion, roughly about an 8.0. So let me just show that really quick if you haven't seen it. So it's X-Men 96. It is the first appearance of Moira McTaggart. So I'm giving this away to one of my lucky Patreon members. All you have to do is join my Patreon at patreon.com/we love comics and you could do the minimum if you want, which is $2 a month. That's the minimum to join anybody's Patreon. You'll get a shout out every single video. And like I said, if we get to 20 people by February 28th, I'm going to give that away to one of my Patreon members. If we get to 30 by the 28th, not only will I do the comic book, I will also do a the regular unopened baseball pack included with it. So you could potentially win two things. So let's do a shout out. Now, with the shout outs, I can either do your first name and last initial, because as always, I don't put out people's personal information. I'm not going to put their last name out there. But if you'd prefer me, instead of just shouting out your name, if you want me to shout out your YouTube channel, if you want me to shout out one of your um, social networks. If you want me to shout out, if you have an eBay store or an Amazon store, or if you have your own personal business and you want me to, for example, shout out your website. I mean, if you do even the minimum, it's a tax write-off. It's actually a business expense. So to qualify for the contest, you just got to do the minimum, or you could do more, and I'll show you. But let's give a shout out. So shout outs to Sith Lord, Michael B, Kevin W, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, Kim N, and the last four all have names they want me to put out as far as well, you'll see. YouTube, check out Kendall Kid Comics. He hasn't made videos in a long time, he told me, but maybe you guys can encourage him to make a video by maybe subscribing or messaging him. So that's Kendall Kid Comics. If you have Instagram, check out Scott at ScottWU077. If you have Facebook, check out Stephen L. Turk Author. And then last but not least, again, if you have Instagram, Silver Age Surfer _comics. So you could support the channel, patreon.com/we love comics. Here's the normal giveaways once we get to 20 paid members every single month. I'm going to be giving those away. But like I said, if we get about 20 by the 28th of February, that X-Men 96 is going to belong to somebody in my Patreon. Now, again, minimum is $2 to enter, which is the minimum to join anybody's Patreon, but you'll get one entry for every $2 you put in. So the more you put in, the more chances you'll get. So if we do get to the 20, and like for example, if somebody pledges $5, you might be better off going to either four. Well, actually, you'd get less that way. But if you do six that particular month, you'll get an extra chance. So the more you put in, the more chances you'll get. But again, you could do the minimum and that will still qualify. So let's see if we can get it. So far, we haven't had any additional joiners, but hey, we still got until February 28th if somebody wants to get that book. And like I said, in roughly about an 8.0, that book's around a $250 comic. So I'm making sure, I mean, if you put $2 in and you win a $200 comic, you did pretty good on it, but we'll see what happens. Looking to do some trades. So if you have any of these books or know anybody that has these books, I'm willing to trade. If it takes 20 of my comics to get one of these, as long as it's a fair trade, I do not mind doing it. It also includes any of my memorabilia, my Star Wars figures, or my sports memorabilia that you've seen in videos. So anything's up for grabs. You can always ask me, and the worst I could say is no or come up with an alternative. But contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Let's save thousands of dollars in purchases, save hundreds of dollars in taxes, and it's something that is not taxable at the end of the year because trades are not taxable. So Pino is our first one in here. We got Dalsk also. We got X Daredevil. There we go. Says new here. But been watching your channel for a while. Hello, welcome. Nice to see a new face. Nice to hear that you're enjoying my content or at least viewing it. So thank you and welcome. I'm glad you made it to the live chat. And even if somebody has never been in the live chat before, I always pick two people in the live chat to do a surprise subscriber shout out. So there are benefits to that, and hopefully you'll come and join the conversation. So we've got Comic Mike in and Uncanny Kyle Waka, long time no see, says hello. Here is the box. The person I told them if they could put do not bend and stuff like that. I asked them if they can mail it in a box. They didn't do that, but like I said, they were nice enough to put for Gilly and do not bend all over this because I explained the situation. And I always tell my viewers, never assume that a seller knows or cares about how to send something properly because I'm sure if you've been buying enough online like I have, eventually you'll get the manila envelope of death, or somebody sends just a padded envelope without even a bag and board. So I always make sure I mention it to people, and say, can you mail it in a bag and board, and can you make sure it's protected? And I'll give a little explanation as to why. And most of them will do it. Every now and then somebody doesn't listen, but you can't control those people. But as you can see, the person, at least he did or she did, put some extra cardboard. So who knows if my message ended up making that extra protection happen and the writing on the box, who knows? But it's nice to ask just to make sure. So this person used the painter's tape, which is a great tape to use if you're going to mail comics. The only thing is I always recommend if you're going to do this, fold the edges a little bit here and make like a little tab that somebody can pull because it makes it a lot easier because see now I have to cut around it and you could potentially cut the comic that way. These are just minor things, but when you are a seller, the easier and more convenient you you are for your buyer, the more likely they're going to have a good experience with you and most likely will buy from you again. I mean, that's why with my auctions that I do, I have people that have bought dozens of times from me over the years because they're happy with what I've done. And if you don't do the right thing, you know, you can sell to anybody once, but you'll never get repeat business. So, and speaking of which, for my live auction that I did on Saturday, there are only 9 comics left, and tonight, midnight, is the deadline. If you are interested in any of the remaining 9 comics that are still available, um, you could contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, but you have until midnight tonight. After that, the remaining comics will no longer be for sale. So at the end of this video, I'll show the remaining 9 comics. So this way you don't have to go check out the other video unless you want to see them in fuller detail. Ex Daredevil says, I know the feeling. I just got a Marvel Spotlight 9 sent to me with no bag and board. Uh, yeah, it even was taped. Yeah, unfortunately, there are, because I think when you are either making YouTube videos, comic book YouTube videos on your channel, or you watch a lot of comic book channels, we kind of get, I guess, spoiled in the fact that the majority, I would assume, that make videos and videos you watch know how to mail things properly. So I think we kind of assume, well, that's just the general thing that if you have a book that you're sending in the mail, that somebody would put it securely. You don't know who's that eBay seller. They could be some 75-year-old woman that just found a comic in their attic and just thought, oh, they'll make 50 bucks and is ecstatic about it and just mails it in an envelope thinking it's just like, a magazine in the mail subscription. So I always tell people never assume that somebody knows what they're doing, and some just want to save as much money as possible. That's why they put it in the manila envelope because they don't have to spend as much for shipping for those. So, but I always explain to people that do that is that, if it arrives damaged because of you not properly shipping it with enough protection, I'm going to get my money back, and you're going to end up with no money for the comic and a damaged comic, which means you'll at best be able to sell it for less money than you could have. So it pays to spend an extra $3, $4 to protect the book. So this way you're not, I remember a book that got damaged and they had to take half the price off, which was $300. Now, if they would have spent $5 or maybe $10 on extra shipping packaging, it would have never happened. It wouldn't have arrived damaged. So sometimes it's penny wise and dollar foolish. So here is the book. Now I'm going to open this up because you guys know me. If you know stuff that I tend to buy, and let's see who's my power viewers and ultra power viewers. What kind of comic? Now, I'm not asking specifically the comic itself because, that's going to be impossible to guess. But what type of comic do you think this is going to be when I said I'm going to examine it? Now, there's actually two things I have to examine in this one. But let's see who watches my videos and is a power viewer or ultra power viewer. So in the live chat, if you are watching this live, or in the comment section, if you're watching it later, pause the video and write out what type of comic you think this is. Because I've owned this comic before, but I've never had this version of the comic. So we'll give it a second. Pino has been watching. So, Pino, you are absolutely correct, but we are going to find out. I never knew this had a Mark Julius variant. Now, we're going to open this up to find out because there are two things you have to check for in this book. And Delsk also got that correct. That's the second part. Not only is this one in theory, and we'll find out because the video I did yesterday, there was a comic that was sold to me as a Mark Jewelers. I opened it and it ended up not being a Mark Jewelers. So I don't know if they lied or they just didn't know what a Mark Jewelers was. But if you want to see which comic that was, check out the video I did yesterday. But not only is this supposedly, and we're going to open it up, a Mark Julius variant, this also has a Marvel value stamp. So you have to make sure that that stamp is in there and never assume that even if a seller shows a picture, that it will be in there. Now, they did say that this has writing on it. I did see that in the pictures. So somebody decided to do their math homework on the book, but I mean, it's not destroyed or anything. But let's look this up. All right. So it does have the Mark Jewelers. And the key thing is when you look at a Mark Jewelers, it's always the centerfold. Make sure it's attached and somebody didn't just take a Mark Jewelers from a $2 comic and try to stick it into an expensive one. I had one person that did that at one time. But you also want to make sure the coupons aren't cut. They aren't written on. Looks good. So now we're going to check for the Marvel value stamp. And this is why I tell people all the time, it pays to know about comics. Because if you don't know that this book and lots of books have a Marvel value stamp, well, you can end up sending it in to get graded and find out that it comes back a green label incomplete. So as you can see here, and they did show a picture, but again, and I'll tell the story in a second for those who haven't heard it. This does have the Marvel stamp, so this is complete. With the writing, that is going to lower the grade, but overall, it's got some wrinkles in the entire cover. It looks like it's been folded, but non-color breaking crease. If it broke all the way down color, the maximum would be a 5.0. I think with the pressing and dry cleaning, even with this math equation on there, I still think this is between a 5 and a 5.5. It has a couple of spine ticks that break color, but I mean, for a book in the mid 70s, this is probably around, I think, 73, 74. And this, by the way, is the second appearance of the Punisher. Um, it's got, I would say, off-white pages, maybe creamed off-white. Looks like there's no writing in the rest of the book. All the coupons are intact. The staples are intact. So this one's a really good book. So like I said, about probably between a 5.0 and a 5.5, maybe a 6 pushing it, but I think that might be pushing it. So let's do what we always do. If you were in the live chat or later on if you're watching this later, and I always encourage people, you can look these up on eBay under the sales, and if there aren't any sales, you can look up the prices of what people are selling these for. I have not seen these very often. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I even knew when I saw this book that it had a Mark Julas variant in it. So this to me, I would say, is a minor key because it's the second appearance of the Punisher, and if you can't afford the first appearance of a character, the next best thing usually is the second appearance. So, in the comment section or in the live chat, what would be the highest you would have paid for this book? Now, remember, if you're buying it on eBay, that also you have to include shipping and taxes. So I'll give people a minute if they want to look it up. And the reason I do this is I want to get people familiar with not just saying, well, I would be comfortable paying $1 for that book. Well, who wouldn't? But the idea is to be able to get used to seeing a book and looking up what people are willing to pay for it so you can get a general idea if something is a good deal or something that you should pass up. Because many people will put prices on a comic. Like if you see a book and you look at the highest price, somebody might have a book for listed for $2,700, and then you see the same grade from a bunch of other people for like 800. So there's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, all right, I'm going to hope some idiot that doesn't check is going to see mine and say, oh, it's expensive, it must be valuable, so let me buy that one. I want people to get used to researching and get used to knowing in an instant that if you see a deal, you're not having to always kind of just hope or pass up on something that could have been an opportunity. So Pino says 150 including shipping. So with taxes, that would be probably about 170, 175, somewhere around there. So again, this is Amazing Spider-Man. This is 135, second appearance of the Punisher, mid-grade, between a 5 and a 5.5 in my opinion. It is a Mark Julas variant, and it also does have the Marvel stamp. So let me see. Deva says, I know an Uncanny X-Men 191 you don't often see as in a Mark Julas. I got lucky a while back and got one in high grade. Yeah, especially, and congratulations on that. Especially if you can find them in high grade. I mean, you're talking, like I use it as an example all the time. A New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. In a 9.8, in the regular version of that comic that you bought in a comic store, a 9.8 would probably go roughly around $800 to $1,000 at this point. If you had a newsstand version of that book, it would probably go for about 1,500 to maybe 2,000. But if you have a 9.8 Mark Jewelers of that book, you're talking 8 to 10,000 because a Mark Jewelers variant is going to be about between 5 and 7% of a total print run. So when people say, "Oh, don't buy a book because it's common," well, look for the newsstand variants and look for the Mark Jewelers variants because there're going to be a lot less of them, and especially when you're talking higher grade. So even though this one's probably only about a 5.0 or a 5.5, the fact that this is a book all the way back from the 70s there are probably not a lot of these still available. If you own one of these, put it in the comments section. I would be surprised if more than one person says they either have or have owned this book in a Mark Jewelers. So there are a lot of Mark Jeweler comics out there, but a lot of them are just dollar bin comics that just happen to be a Mark Jewelers. Now, in case you're not familiar with Mark Jewelers, what they were is these were exclusively for military bases and the stores around the military base, where they were basically getting people to try and propose, and they were selling jewelry in hopes that the soldiers, when they were going off to war or going off, to some other part of the world, that they might propose to somebody that they're dating, because you get a lot of benefits with that. That's why a lot of military people end up marrying somebody really quick if they're going overseas or going to war, because then that woman gets a lot of benefits, or man, depends if there's a woman in the military. So these were exclusively into military bases and stores around there. So, soldiers, even if they wanted to, they couldn't just buy them and, put them in bags and boards and put them in their collection in their bunkers. So a lot of them got thrown out. A lot of them got damaged. A lot of them got the coupons cut out because somebody probably said, "Oh, I want to buy my wife or my significant other a piece of jewelry." So these are not easy to come by, but make sure you're getting key issues. And if you can find them for high grade, I mean, this 2024 is the start of me being obsessed with Mark Jewelers. So we had one person say they would pay about 150, and that would include shipping, but with taxes, probably be at about 175. You guys know I always find deals. I always make deals. With shipping and handling and with eBay taxes, the total price was $98.59. So I paid under $100 for a mid-grade Mark Jewelers variant that, as you could see, because like I say, I always recommend people checking them, confirmed to have the Mark Jewelers variant and confirmed to have the Marvel value stamp. So I think for under $100 for this book, absolutely worth getting. Remember, the Daredevil series is coming soon, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Frank Castle, the Punisher, is going to be in the show, and who knows if they end up making another series with his character as well. And what do you think that's going to do to prices of his not only first appearance, but other key significant books? So I always tell people, when you see the comic book investments going down a little bit, because I keep telling people it's cycles. It's going to be part of any investment. You're going to have ups and downs. You never see a stock like this. And if you do, that's a problem. You never see a stock like this. If it is, you're going to eventually see it like this. It's going to be like this. So the idea is you try and sell near the top and you try and buy near the bottom. The problem is many people, with the fear of missing out and basing their investments on um, emotion instead of logic, they'll just catch a wave when everybody else is saying, "Oh, this is the flavor of the month," and they'll all ignore a book when nobody's talking about it. I buy books that nobody's talking about that I can see has potential. And if I see a book that's going to be getting close, like for example, the first appearance of Doctor Doom, I have the first appearance of Doctor Doom. That's a book I may consider to sell once they start putting out the first movie or two, because that's going to be the peak at that point. That doesn't mean it's going to drop to the floor, but after the movies, they tend to dip a little bit. That's when you could potentially buy it back, maybe profit $500-600 from your sale, buy the book back, and then use that money to buy something else. But most people, they don't know how to invest properly, and don't understand, or what I like to call understand, finding deals. Because if you're trying to buy a book that everybody is saying is the flavor of the month, you now have to compete with hundreds, if not thousands, of people trying to buy that book at that moment. That's the worst time to be buying, because you're going to be either outbid, or they're going to be sold before you ever get a chance to see them, or you're going to have to spend more money than that you should have. So to me, it just makes no sense. That's why if you see video after video, especially when it comes to key books, I always find deals, because I either make them happen, which I've done on numerous occasions. I've had books where They would have just a buy it now with no best offer, and I would actually contact them and say, "Would you be willing to take this price for the book?" Some say no, some counter with a in between price, and some will accept it. Take the chance. What do you have to lose? Anyway, let's see. X Daredevil says I'm all in on Mark Jewelers and well, mainly X-Men and Venom keys. Don't blame you. Go with what you love. Don't go by what everybody else tells you or what everybody else says is hot. Because you'll see a lot of the bigger YouTube channels, especially ones that own comic book stores, they're going to promote all the new stuff and tell you, oh, you need it now and it's a limited variant. And if you haven't noticed, and that's why I stopped collecting new comics about 2 to 3 years ago, you haven't noticed that they'll get hot really quick and then all of a sudden they disappear and nobody cares about them anymore. And you spend $500 on a 1 in 500 variant only to find out a year later that you can't even sell it for 90 bucks. Be careful with those people. They work on your emotion of the fear of missing out. Get it now. And everybody else is doing it. Stop following the herd. There's a reason why people that know how to live their own lives and do things on their own call the masses sheep because they'll just follow what everybody else does. And what does one shepherd and one shepherd dog lead the sheep to? They lead them to slaughter, and they'll all follow blindly without question. I mean, you have the right to be that type of person, but don't complain if you fail more than you succeed. And I want people that watch my channel to be able to succeed. I don't get a lot of viewers, but the ones that do view my channel and appreciate what I do have told me on numerous occasions over the years of how much they've benefited from my advice that I give out freely. And that's the thing, like, for example, and I'll just show this really quick again for the contest. With my Patreon, there is no content that you have to pay to get there. Everything that I give as far as information wise, I give freely. My Patreon is just for people who want to support my channel and help me when I take care of, I'll just say on average, 20 stray cats every single day, getting them fixed, getting them fed, getting shots, getting vet bills if they need it, because I've had many of them that would have died if my wife and I didn't take them to the vet to get them, antibiotics and fix a cold and stuff. So my Patreon isn't, oh, join my Patreon if you want my exclusive content. I have no exclusive content. I give it all freely. But remember, like I said, if you do join my Patreon by February 28th and even do the minimum amount, I'm giving away an X-Men 96. I'm doing it because it's my way of saying thank you to those who are loyal to my channel. And that's why I always want to give advice that I would like to believe is beneficial. And I have no alternative motives. I don't have a comic book store where I'm trying to sell the latest variant in my company's name so I can hoard 500 of them and make it seem like it's rare so the price shoots up and then just start dishing them out. Now, I'm not calling out any names, but I'm sure if you're a person that's watched a lot of YouTube channels, you know there are several comic book channels that have been caught for promoting a rare variant, hoarding them so it made it rare, and then distribute them out and made a poop ton of money. That to me is shady and dishonest and something I would never participate in. As a matter of fact, many a times on certain of those comics, like for example, there was an Ultimate Fallout 4 foil variant. I warned people that I wouldn't have touched that with a 100-foot pole. And you guys, if you watch my channel, know how much I love Ultimate Fallout 4. And I told people, you are going to lose your shirt on that. And sure enough, that book is, you're lucky if you could sell it for 10% what you paid for it. So just be careful who you hitch your wagon to. Just because somebody's popular and just because somebody tells you what you want to hear does not mean they're really there for your best interest. By their deeds you shall know them. I'm no saint, but as you can see over the years, and you can see every single video I have, my videos are all about trying to educate people, to make them smarter investors. Now, if you're buying books just to, read them, or just because you love the art and you want to put them on the wall as an art piece, then some of this stuff really doesn't matter. But in a sense, even if that's the case, why spend more money on the thing you're going to hang on the wall when you could spend less money by waiting for deals and making deals happen and know if something is a deal or pass up on something that you may have wanted but know that that book is maybe has a million copies, so you can always find another opportunity. My secrets are I never even look for a specific comic. I didn't look for this book. I just happened to go to I always type in the search engine every single time I write the word comics. Because here's the thing most people don't realize. eBay is very sensitive with the word that you type. So if you misspell it by one letter, the books will not show up. So let's say I was looking for Amazing Spider-Man 135 Mark Jewelers, and I spell it Spidar by mistake. So it comes out Spider-Man. No books are going to show up. The other disadvantage is, let's say a seller by mistake, instead of the E in Spider Man, put an A. So if you type in the Amazing Spider Man number 135, Mark Jewelers, and the seller accidentally put an A there by mistake and didn't realize it, that will not come up in the search engine. So I always type in the search engine comics. I put a price range that I'm looking for, and then I first either go to the newly listed books and a buy it now because I don't care about a newly listed book with an auction because whatever price they're showing, it's probably going to go up. I want to buy it now best offer so I can find a deal and buy it quick. Or I go to the ending soonest, again with an auction this time and not a buy it now because if it was a deal, it would have been bought early. It wouldn't last all the way into the end of the auction because auctions can be anywhere from 1 day to 7 days up to 10 days, and some just repeat forever. Like if you ever look up persons trying to sell, I think it's Superman issue 1 through 5, and that listing has been there since I was living in New York. I mean, I'm talking the first time I saw it was around 2017. So who knows how long it was before then, and it's still continuously going. So there are strategies, and I give them freely. Again, my Patreon is just for people who want to support my channel because they appreciate what I do. And that's why I don't have any content that you have to pay to go get. All of my secrets I reveal to you guys because if I succeed and I can help you succeed, that's a beautiful thing. So anyway, before I do the surprise subscriber shoutouts, if you want to critique the AI art, please do. I want to show the 9 remaining comics that are still available for sale until tonight. So if you want, I'm not going to go into full detail on them. If you want the full detail, you can watch the auction, the live auction I did on Saturday last week. And I'm going from the lowest priced available to the highest, so it'll be easier to find them. So the 9 books that are still available until midnight tonight. First up, Fantastic Four, Annual 2, 4.5, Origin of Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's coming to the MCU. I'm actually shocked that that one didn't sell. But to be honest, if it doesn't sell, I'll just hold on to it, and that book's going to continue to rise. So, in a way, I'm actually grateful if it doesn't sell. But that the price on that book, and I'll give the price that the auction started as. $325 plus 19.99 domestic shipping, 59.99 international shipping. It could qualify for a 2-month payment plan if you need it. Next up, another book I'm surprised did not sell, Detective Comics 359. I had a bunch of people ask about it, but no one left a deposit, so it's still available until midnight tonight. 3.5, $349 plus shipping. Again, would qualify for up to 2-month payment plan if you need it, and that's no interest. And remember, no taxes on these prices. Next up, Conan number 1 at a 7.0, high grade. First appearance of Conan in the comics and the first appearance of King Kull in a cameo. $389 plus shipping. Again, to a 2-month payment plan if you need it. Next up, still available. This is a book I've had, again, a couple of people ask about, but no one pulled the trigger. And again, another book I was surprised that people didn't get. First appearance of the Kingpin, who is going to be coming in the Daredevil series. So what do you think is going to happen when the appearances happen? The books go up. But this book, oh wait, that's one that's sold. Okay, sorry about that. I got to put this one to the side. I'm actually glad I double checked. So Amazing Spider-Man 50 is no longer for sale. So my apologies. So the person, I forgot to cross that out on here. Oh no, I did cross it out. That's why I forgot to put it on the thing. That's why I'm glad I always double check. So scratch that. There are 8 books left. This one definitely I had a couple people ask for, but no one paid for it. So Hawkman #4, first appearance of Zatanna, 3.0, only $425 plus shipping. This would qualify for up to a 3-month payment program. And again, you could pay for them early. It's just if you need the payment plan, it's my way. I'm the only one that does that on YouTube with the comics sales, and I'm the one that came up with it. But another book I'm surprised did not sell. Available until midnight. Silver Surfer #1, respectable mid-grade 5.0, only $449 plus shipping. This book, Silver Surfer, is coming to the MCU. So what do you think's going to happen to these books? Again, if this doesn't sell, I'll be more than happy to hold on to it and watch the price go up for the next auction. The reason I'm selling this is I needed bills to be paid, and plus I have a couple of copies of this book, so I don't mind selling one, even though I could wait and sell it for more later to help you guys be able to get a deal. So if you're interested in Silver Surfer #1, $449. You have until midnight to contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Otherwise, it's no longer for sale. Next up, no one asked about this one, and that's fine. Not every book is going to be completely desired, but this is NYX #3. This is a CGC 9.8 with white pages. It's a book I bought raw, got signed myself. It's by Charles Soule. So I went to my local comic book store at the time. They were doing the signatures, and there was and that's not a crack in the case. That's just the bag. I'll replace it if somebody buys it. But they had a CGC witness. I had him witness sent in, came back a 9.8. This is the first appearance of Phantom L. This is the 1 in 25 variant. The price of this book is $499 plus shipping, and that would also qualify for up to a 3-month payment plan. Next up, another book couple people asked about, but people did not pull the trigger. This is a 9.8 Edge of Spider-Verse #2. This is the first appearance of Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider. It's a matter of time before she ends up, in my opinion, getting into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a live action, and you know what'll happen. This is a book I've been recommending for years. Again, I have several copies of this, so I do not mind selling one. And by the way, that does have white pages. I'm selling this for only $529 plus shipping. Available till tonight. You can use up to a 3-month payment plan. 2 more books left. Amazing Spider-Man #20, first appearance of the Scorpion. Respectable 5.5, so a little higher than a mid-grade book. Yeah, it has a little drawing on it, but still, first appearance of the Scorpion. I'm selling this book for only $629 plus shipping. This one would qualify for up to 6-month payment program if you need it. So you're talking about $100 a month, and you can own this book. And last but not least, it's only a .5, but still, this is a hard book to get. This is Incredible Hulk #2, second appearance of the Hulk, but the first time he was ever the Green Hulk. So that is a very significant book. Now, the reason this is a .5 is because there is no back cover. But I mean, not for nothing. If you're going to hang this on the wall, you never see the back cover. I'm selling this book for only $749 plus shipping. And again, this would qualify for up to a 6-month payment program with no interest. Now, keep in mind, those prices, I don't add taxes. So even if you went on eBay, and I always encourage people to check, you'll see that not only is my starting prices for these books lower than the lowest ones sold on eBay, their prices don't even include what the taxes would have been. So those are the books still available. So if you're interested in those, you have until midnight. You can contact me at Peaceful Feelings. Where is it? Is it? Yes, right here, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Ways to pay. If you send me cash or a money order, or you can send me a personal check, but keep in mind, because I have a person that's going to be doing that, if you send a personal check, it has to be held for 10 days to make sure it clears. Money order or cash, you don't have to worry about that. And I have several people that have done that and continue to do mail in cash or a money order. You'll if you send in cash or money order or a personal check, if you don't mind waiting the 10-day waiting period, you'll get free shipping. Plus, you'll also get free domestic shipping. I'll give a discount on international shipping if you want to buy and you live outside the continental 48 states, because international would also include Alaska and Hawaii. But you'll get free shipping and a free comic. If you use Cash App or Venmo, you'll get a free comic. I do accept also PayPal, but there's no bonuses for that because PayPal charges me a percentage every time somebody leaves a payment. So you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com if you're interested in any of those books. And again, and you have until midnight. So let's pick today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. And again, if you want to join my Patreon as low as $2 a month, by the 28th, if I get up to 20 people, I'm giving away that X-Men 96 retail value roughly between $2 and $250. So join at patreon.com/we love comics. And if you want to critique the AI art, please do. So we have to go with X Daredevil. You are the first surprise subscriber shout out. And we're going to go with Dalsk. You are the second surprise subscriber shout out. So just in case if you're not familiar with that, what that means is once the video uploads, if you have a YouTube channel, you could post a link in the comment section to either a specific video or your YouTube channel. If you'd rather do a link to one of your social networks, you can do that. Or if you have an eBay store or an Amazon store and you want to share me to share a link to that, by all means, post that. Or if you have a business and you want to promote your website, you could put that as well. Just keep in mind, any link will go directly to spam first. This is what keeps trolls and spammers from putting inappropriate links onto my channel, where anybody could just randomly click on something that'll take them somewhere inappropriate. So I always verify every link. If it's something that is for all suitable for all audiences, I will approve it and it will be shown in the comment section. So if you see a link, it means it has been verified and approved and suitable for all audiences. So if you see a link, click on it. Go follow them. Go join their YouTube channel. Go see what they have for sale. Let's have the community work together and be a real community. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you get the chance, let me know what you thought about my deal for the Amazing Spider-Man number 135, Mark Julas variant with the Marvel value stamp intact for under $100. If you think I got a good deal, or you can find a better deal, or have found a better deal, or you think I overpaid, put it in the comments section. So thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Contact me before midnight for those comics. Again, look at the auction I did last Saturday if you want the full details, front and back, and reading of the graders notes and things like that, so you can get a better idea of the comic. That was done last Saturday. Contact me before midnight tonight at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. The first person that makes a deposit to hold it or pays for it outright will be the owner of that comic. And if you need the payment plan, let me know. So thank you so much for checking out my video. Thank you if you turn the hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. If you hit subscribe or unsubscribe, as long as you're viewing, that's all I care about. And don't forget, say it with me. It is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Really appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay warm. And to all those living in the Los Angeles, California area, my God, please be safe. And my prayers go out to all of you. I hope you're going to be okay. One of the people that bought a comic for me, I believe lives in that area. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose what area, um, but I hope they're okay. So, if you have friends or family, please stay in touch with them, and much prayers are needed. Because trust me, when I had that hurricane and we were leaving the house knowing or believing that we were going to come back to everything that we worked for gone. Um, I can say I almost know what that feels like because thank God it didn't happen. But the way that storm was going to directly head towards us, and we just feared that we were going to drive home to find out we were homeless. So let's pray for everybody out there and hope for the best. Whether you believe in the politics or right or wrong is irrelevant. We're all human beings, and we really need to come together and support and love one another. That's what's most important. So thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.